Linda, this is Dan. Why aren't you coming to the wedding? I wanted you to be the first person to congratulate me.
What's going on?
It's the wedding invitation, the one I gave to Rachel to pass along to you. Why in the world did you return it with not attending marked on it?
Why, isn't it obvious? Why would I want to attend the wedding of my ex-husband?
But listen, you're a classmate and we have so many mutual friends. If I didn't invite you, it would be awkward, don't you think? It wouldn't be weird at all if you came just like it were a school reunion. No big deal.
No, I can't do that. Actually, a lot of people already know that we're divorced, and if they see your ex-wife showing up at the wedding, it's going to make things really uncomfortable. The bride probably won't be too happy about it either. So please, don't worry about it. You can just go ahead and have your wedding without worrying what I think. It's your day, after all.
But you see, that's not exactly how it works.
What do you mean?
Actually, I want Rachel to be the flower girl.
What? Rachel as the flower girl?
My wife, Kylie, she's 21 and half Japanese, has spent a lot of time living in Asia. Because of that, she doesn't have any friends here in the U.S. who could be a flower girl, so it's only natural for me to handle this. It's my responsibility, right?
But asking your ex-wife's daughter, the daughter of your ex-wife, to be part of the ceremony? That's a bit much, don't you think?
Isn't it a great idea?
Are you serious? If Rachel thought of you as a father, that would make sense, but do you even realize how long it's been since you last saw her? She knows you only through pictures. And do you think it's a good idea to ask her to do this for free?
But listen to me, no matter what, Rachel is still my daughter. On the wedding day, she would only need to fulfill a small role. She'll get to wear a beautiful princess dress and she'll be thrilled. She'll love it.
You're being incredibly naive. What about Kylie, the bride? Is she okay with this idea? The child from your past marriage stepping into the wedding like this? If I were her, I would be uncomfortable with it.
This isn't a problem. I've told Kylie that Rachel is just a friend of mine.
Wait, hold on a second.
What?
Please tell me you didn't leave out the fact that you actually have a daughter to Kylie, right? You didn't keep that from her, did you?
Oh, I just told her I'm divorced. I didn't go into any more detail than that.
What? Why didn't you tell her about your daughter?
Kylie is still only 21 years old, you know. I didn't want to burden her with that information. It would be too much to handle.
But age isn't the issue here. It's not about how old she is or whether you think she can handle the truth. It's about honesty, and you should have been open with her about having a daughter.
Well, I'll bring it up eventually. I'm just waiting for the right moment. Please, leave this matter in my hands.
Waiting for the right moment? This isn't something you can put off.
Oh, come on. There's no need to overthink this. Kylie and her family are really easygoing and understanding, so everything will be fine. I'm sure of it.
What do you mean by that? Look, if this situation causes any problems down the line, don't involve Rachel or me. We can't take responsibility for any of this.
Okay. In the end, I've decided to ask Rachel to be the flower girl after all.
No, I refuse.
What? Why?
I already explained why. Plus, Rachel is old enough to understand a lot of things by now. She knows that her parents' divorce is because of your infidelity. She probably figured that out on her own already without me having to say anything.
But that was years ago! The person I'm marrying now is not the same person you were involved with at that time. We should all just move on and let go of the past. I'll come to the wedding and put it behind me. Let's move forward, all right?
You can't just make decisions like that on your own. Rachel and I are not going to the wedding. That's final.
Okay, but let's at least think about it for a second. You don't think Rachel might want to be a part of something as special as a wedding? It might be her only chance to wear that kind of dress, you know? And don't tell me she hasn't been thinking about it. Every little girl dreams of being the flower girl in a wedding. I'm not asking her to play a major role, just a small one. It won't hurt anyone.
No, it's not about that. It's about the fact that you're asking someone who hasn't even seen you in years to step into a situation like that. You're not considering the emotional weight it might carry.
I get it. You're worried. You think I'm rushing into things and putting Rachel in an uncomfortable spot. But trust me, I've thought this through. I've made sure that Kylie won't have an issue with it, and I know Rachel. I know she'll enjoy it. It's a small role and it's just for one day. You're overthinking everything. Let it go.
I am not overthinking it. I am trying to protect Rachel from this whole mess. She's been through enough, and you know it. The last thing she needs to be is put in an awkward situation at your wedding. And trust me, it would be awkward for her too.
But Rachel isn't a child anymore. She's an adult. She's been through a lot, but that doesn't mean she's incapable of handling something like this. And she's not gonna be upset. If anything, she'll be excited. What's the harm in letting her be part of it?
It's not about the harm. It's about respect. Respect for what's happened in the past and for the people involved. You can't just wipe all of that away and pretend nothing happened.
Look, I know we didn't end things on the best terms, and I'm not trying to pretend otherwise. But this is my wedding. This is a new chapter in my life, and I want to celebrate it with the people who matter to me. Rachel matters, and I would like for her to be a part of it, even if it's just in a small way.
You can't expect me to just get over everything and accept it like it's nothing. There is a lot more to this than you think.
Hey, Linda! Why didn't you come to the wedding? Hey! Answer me! Why aren't you picking up the phone? This is seriously frustrating!
What?
Why didn't you show up today? The wedding was important and I needed you here. Why did you tell me you weren't coming?
Well, I told you I wasn't coming. You already knew that, right?
No! I told you that I would change my attendance to yes, and I expected you to show up. You said you would. We even talked about it last week, remember?
I said I wasn't coming. Neither Rachel nor I were going, and that's final.
Because of that, everything's turned into a disaster here. You seriously have no idea what you've caused by not being here.
A disaster?
Yes, a disaster. I was in the middle of the ceremony preparations when I had to deal with the fact that you two weren't here. I found a girl dressed as a flower girl in the hallway, and I just assumed it was Rachel. I was panicking, thinking she was lost, so I tried to grab her and take her to the aisle. But then it turns out she was actually there for another wedding. She was mistaken for Rachel, and it caused a huge commotion.
Didn't you check her name before trying to take her?
I didn't have time to check. It was right before the ceremony, and I was rushing around to make sure everything went smoothly. It's easy to mistake someone in a flower girl dress for Rachel, especially when you've only seen her in photos for so long. You know, I've been living with this chaotic wedding planning for weeks now, so seeing someone who looked like Rachel made me panic.
Well, about that, I've heard most of what happened from friends who were attending your wedding.
What? You heard what happened?
Yes, honestly, I am just kind of dumbfounded by everything. You're really putting me in a tough spot right now.
What do you mean?
That girl you mistook for Rachel was actually only 8 years old, huh? I heard that she was way younger than Rachel.
What does that have to do with anything? She was the same age as Rachel, as far as I could tell.
Well, Rachel is 11 now. You seriously mistook an 8-year-old for an 11-year-old? That's a pretty big difference.
No way. She's 11 now?
Yeah, I told you that. I'm surprised you didn't know. I mean, you haven't seen her in a couple of years, but still, 3 years is a huge difference. Are you really telling me you forgot that your own daughter is 11?
Wait, hold on. So Rachel is 11. I really messed up, didn't I?
Yes, you did. And you know what? The worst part is that the girl you grabbed didn't even look like Rachel. She was dressed for her age, which was appropriate for an 8-year-old. I heard you even screamed at her when you tried to drag her away by force. She started crying and was really upset.
Well, of course, that caused a scene. No one would have expected that to happen. I was just trying to make sure everything went smoothly, but then everything fell apart.
Wait. You're telling me that the girl I thought was Rachel was 8 years old and I still got it wrong?
Yes, and it was a mess.
You need to take responsibility for what happened here. But the real problem is what happened after you tried to grab her.
What do you mean?
Well, I heard after the whole mix-up, you yelled at the girl. You even shouted, "Listen to what your father says," when you tried to drag her away. That's really bad, you know.
Wait a second. Did I say that? I don't remember yelling that.
Apparently you did. One of the bride's relatives overheard you. And from what I've been hearing, it wasn't just the girl who was upset. People who were nearby could hear everything.
This is getting out of hand. I can't believe I messed up like this. I had no idea that people were listening to me. Why didn't you say something sooner?
I didn't know until I heard it from the bride's side. Your parents didn't help either. When the relatives questioned them, they couldn't even give a proper explanation. That's when people from the groom's side got involved. It was such a mess that they started asking the guests for clarification.
You've got to be kidding me! How is this happening?
I'm not kidding. In fact, the bride's father even called me to ask about Rachel. I had to explain everything to him.
Wait, what? You told them everything about Rachel?
Yes, I had to. I told them everything about Rachel, and they asked me about the reason for your divorce. So I had to tell them about your affair, too.
No way, you didn't!
I told you that you should have explained things properly to avoid causing all this trouble. Now it's spiraled out of control.
I don't believe this. You're just making everything worse by telling people about Rachel and my divorce.
No, I'm just telling you the truth. You should have handled this better from the start. This mess is on you, not me.
Wait, you're really acting like this is some other person's problem. How are you so calm about it?
What do you mean?
You're the one who's involved in this, and I'm the one who's trying to make sense of all this chaos. You're just sitting there not doing anything to help me out. If Rachel's involved, shouldn't you be helping me out too?
Excuse me? Are you even listening to yourself?
What?
The issue with Rachel is your problem, not mine. Don't try to make me your scapegoat just because you can't handle the situation. I'll help as much as I can, but I'm not going to take the blame for your mistakes.
You've got to be kidding me! You're not even going to help me fix this?
I'm helping in my own way, but there's only so much I can do. You've made things worse for yourself by keeping quiet about Rachel all this time. Don't expect me to clean up your mess.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Are you seriously just going to sit there and do nothing?
I've been doing all I can, but I am not your personal assistant. You need to take responsibility for your actions.
Fine, I get it, but this is really going to cause problems. My whole life is falling apart right now, and you're acting like it's not a big deal.
Maybe you should have thought about that before everything went down like this. Well, I'm incredibly tired. As for what happened afterward, I only heard the general outline of the story, but, of course, my ex-husband and Kylie's relationship ended in disaster. They broke up as expected. There were claims for alimony and compensation, and since my ex-husband had lied about not having children, the amount that was demanded from him was quite high. It seems like he had to pay a lot more than he anticipated due to that lie. On my end, I also had to chase after him for the child support payments that had been delayed. Eventually, I was able to get a certain amount out of him, though I had to make a lot of effort to get it. And so my ex-husband is currently trapped in a spiral of debt. It's really quite a mess. At one point, he even came to visit me, probably with the hope of asking for money, but the place he showed up at was the apartment I had moved out of years ago. He never thought that there could be a new resident there, and when he arrived, he mistook the man living there for my boyfriend. He caused a huge scene. The whole situation became so chaotic that the police were called. It turned into a big ruckus, and the damage he did, destroyed furniture and appliances, only made his financial troubles worse. His debts grew even larger because he had to pay for the repairs and replacements of the things he broke. Honestly, it's just exhausting. I can't believe the things that happened. It feels as though everything has come full circle. After all this time, he still hasn't learned. I guess people really don't change that easily. In some ways, I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I can't bring myself to offer any sympathy. He made his choices and the consequences were inevitable. I'm sure he thought everything would go smoothly and that he could just lie his way out of his problems, but in the end, it all fell apart. I had my own share of struggles too after everything that happened. The divorce was painful, of course, and the things I had to deal with as a single mother weren't easy either. But I managed, I moved on, I rebuilt my life. On the other hand, my ex-husband never seemed to have a clear direction. He didn't take responsibility for his actions. I'm not surprised that he ended up in such a situation. There was always a sense of entitlement about him, like the world owed him something. It was infuriating at times. But now, seeing how things have unfolded, I can't help but feel like he deserves what he's gotten. He made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. It's not my problem anymore. I've got my own life to live, and I don't have the energy to feel guilty about his choices. I think about how things used to be, though, before all the lies and drama started. There was a time when we were happy, or at least I thought we were. Looking back, I wonder how things changed so drastically. How did we get to this point where everything became so broken? It's hard to pinpoint exactly when it all started falling apart, but I think the signs were always there, even if I didn't want to see them. It's strange to reflect on all of it now, to think about what was and what could have been. If only things had been different, maybe we could have avoided all the pain and hurt, but that's just wishful thinking. The reality is that our marriage was built on shaky ground, and it was bound to collapse eventually. I don't regret the decision to leave, not for a second. I think it was the best thing I could have done for myself. But sometimes I still find myself wondering about the what-ifs. What if things had turned out differently? What if we had worked through our issues? What if we had been able to trust each other? I guess I'll never know. And that's okay, I've made my peace with it. My life now is so much better than it was back then. I'm in a place where I can finally breathe. I don't have to constantly worry about what my ex-husband is up to or whether he's going to pull some ridiculous stunt to try and manipulate me. I found peace, and that's something I never had when we were together. When I look at my current situation, I can't help but feel a sense of relief. I'm free from the past, free from the chaos he brought into my life. It took a long time to get here, but I'm finally in control. It feels good to be in charge of my own future. And as for him, well, he's on his own now. He has to deal with the mess he created. I'm not going to waste any more time thinking about him or his problems. I've learned that lesson the hard way. It's amazing how much you can change when you finally let go of someone who's been holding you back. I used to be so concerned with making things work, with trying to fix everything. But now I see that sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away. Let things fall apart if they need to. Life goes on, time moves forward, and eventually you realize that there is so much more out there waiting for you. So many opportunities, so many people who are worth your time and energy. I'm focusing on what lies ahead, not what's behind me. Looking at my ex-husband now, I see a man who's stuck in his own mess, struggling to find a way out, but he's alone in it. He has no one to rely on anymore. And while that might seem sad to some people, I can't bring myself to care. He made his choices, he has to live with them. At the end of the day, it's all about moving forward. It's about not letting the past define you. And I refuse to let my ex-husband's mistakes shape my future. I am done with him. So yes, it's exhausting to think about everything that's happened, but I'm not going to let it weigh me down. I've learned my lessons, and now it's time for me to enjoy the life I've built for myself. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. Molly, are you home today? Hello, Tracy. I'm just planning to go shopping later in the evening, but for the rest of the day, I will mostly be at home. Why, is there something you need? Great! In that case, I'll drop Kat off at your front door. She's a little bit sleepy right now, so you can just take her to your bed and put her to sleep there. Please take care of her for me, okay? Wait, what? What exactly are you talking about? You're bringing her to my house? Oh, I'm heading out with my boyfriend right now. Boyfriend? Yeah, I found this amazing guy on a dating app a little while ago. He's totally my type, so I decided to match with him. And guess what? We've been chatting, and now we're finally going on a date. Wait a second, you're seriously leaving Kat with someone else just so you can go on a date? Don't worry about it. Kat's not picky at all when it comes to food, so just give her whatever you've got. Anyway, thanks. I'll leave the rest to you. Wait, hold on a second. You can't just drop this on me out of nowhere. I mean, Kat's already sitting by my front door, but at least tell me when you'll be back. I need to know how long I'm supposed to take care of her. Tracy? Tracy, are you even listening to me? Molly, thanks so much for taking care of Kat today. You're a lifesaver. I'll ask you again sometime soon, okay? As I mentioned earlier, you can't leave her with me until this late. It's really inconvenient. Oh, come on, don't be like that. You have no idea how hard it is being a single mom. I've got so much to deal with already, and I've even cut ties with my family. I don't have anyone else to rely on, you know. You, on the other hand, don't have any kids, so this isn't a big deal for you, right? Actually, I'm pregnant right now. Wait, what? Really? Yes. I'm guessing you didn't notice because my belly hasn't started showing yet, but I've been struggling with morning sickness, especially nausea from the smell of food. Even though I'm not feeling well, I had to prepare meals for Kat, keep an eye on her while she was running around the house, and somehow managed to lie down whenever I could before my husband came home. It was an incredibly exhausting day. But you still managed to take care of her, didn't you? I had to push myself way beyond my limits to do that. Please, I'm begging you, don't ever ask me to do this again. I'm at a critical stage in my pregnancy right now, and I really can't handle the extra stress. Ugh, fine, whatever. Tracy, you dropped Kat off at my front door again, haven't you? I already told you that I am not taking care of her anymore. Please stop doing this, especially while I'm bedridden with morning sickness. Tracy, I can see that you've read my messages. If you don't stop this nonsense, I'm going to report you to Child Services. Oh, come on. Today I'm going on a day trip with my boyfriend. Excuse me? This is the perfect chance for you to step up as Kat's exclusive babysitter. Exclusive babysitter? I never agreed to such a thing. But look at it this way. Taking care of Kat is giving you valuable experience in parenting, don't you think? I'm dealing with severe morning sickness, and I can barely manage my own day-to-day life as it is. Please, I am begging you, stop putting this on me. Oh, stop being so uptight. It's not good for the baby if you're all stressed out, you know. Who do you think is causing me this stress in the first place? I'll be back tonight. I'm telling you, this is a huge problem for me. Well, I want to enjoy some quality time with my boyfriend, so I'm turning off my phone now. Tracy! Hey, don't you dare hang up on me! Hey, Molly. Thanks so much for looking after Kat. I came to pick her up, but is she not home?
Are you Kat's mother?
Well, I thought it was obvious, didn't I?
I'm David, Molly's husband.
What? So you're telling me you're her husband?
Yes, sorry for contacting you from my wife's phone. She's currently in the hospital.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, your cat was running around in my house, and in doing so she knocked over a ceramic vase.
Oh my, she's so full of energy.
Just as Kat was about to be hit by the falling vase, my wife jumped in to protect her, but the vase hit my wife's shoulder as it came down.
Oh my, that's terrible.
Thankfully, it was only a bruise and the baby's all right, but my wife has been mentally quite shaken up, so she'll need to stay in the hospital for a while.
So, what about Kat?
Kat was splashed with some of the vase's water, but she wasn't injured at all.
Oh, you really gave me a scare there. I'm just so glad Kat is okay.
Tracy.
What?
My wife got hurt protecting your daughter, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened.
Do you have anything to say about that?
Oh, well, I guess your wife did a good job as Kat's personal sitter, right?
What are you talking about?
Well, when your wife wasn't around, you must have been the one looking after Kat, right? Where is she now? You should bring her here quickly.
Well, Kat isn't with us anymore.
What?
It seems like you don't really understand what's going on, so let me explain everything clearly from the beginning.
What's going on?
Earlier today, when the vase fell, there was a loud noise, and neighbors heard Kat crying, so they called the police.
The police?
Yes, the neighbors told the police that you left Kat at our door without permission.
What? But your wife is supposed to be Kat's personal sitter, isn't she?
That's something you just assumed on your own.
I'm her mother, and I said that she's the sitter, so that's how it is.
Can we please stick to the actual topic here?
What? There's more?
Yes, there is.
Fine.
After hearing from the neighbors and my wife, the police contacted Child Protective Services.
Wait, what's that? Your wife was talking about it too, but I had no idea what she meant.
Child Protective Services, or CPS, is a department that deals with situations where children are in unsafe environments.
What?
Well, things have progressed since then. Your ex-husband is planning to take Kat back to his family's house.
What? Why didn't anyone tell me? I'm her mother. I should have been the first to know.
Apparently they tried calling you but couldn't reach you.
That's because your wife kept calling nonstop, making my phone ring constantly, so I turned it off. She could have just called the hotel where I was staying.
But you didn't let anyone know where you were staying, did you?
Well, if I didn't do that, no one would have watched Kat, even the so-called personal sitter.
Are you going to keep repeating that? Anyway, my wife's in the hospital, and once she's discharged, we'll send her back to her family to prepare for childbirth.
What? That's ridiculous.
If you want to pick up Kat, you need to talk to your ex-husband.
That's impossible.
Why?
His family is over 3 hours away by plane. I've already spent a lot of money on this trip, and now I can't even afford the travel expenses to pick up Kat.
I see. That sounds really tough.
What's with this I'm just an outsider attitude?
Well, I'm not really in a position to get involved.
Oh, you're so slow to figure things out.
Excuse me?
You exchanged contact details with my ex-husband, right? Why don't you just contact him and tell him to bring Kat here?
Why don't you contact him yourself?
I deleted his number, so I don't have it anymore.
Well, if you know where his family lives, why don't you just go there and pick her up?
Well, then give me the money for the travel expenses.
I'm not responsible for paying that.
Then you go pick her up yourself and take responsibility for it.
I have no responsibility for that either.
Ugh, what is your problem? I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible. You useless person.
It's really not my fault. I already talked to my wife about it.
Oh, finally? You should have done that from the start. So, will you bring Kat here?
We won't return her to you under any circumstances.
What?
We're planning to fight for custody.
What are you talking about?
My wife and I have decided not to have anything more to do with you, so we'll be leaving now.
Wait, your wife is Kat's personal sitter. That's abandonment. That's neglect. You need to take responsibility for everything up until the very end. Are you even listening to me?
Oh, I'm listening. Trust me, I'm listening. I just don't care about what you're saying anymore.
What? How can you say that?
You've already caused enough problems. My wife is dealing with this issue, not you. And now Kat's well-being is in the hands of the courts.
The courts? What does that even mean?
It means that you've been an irresponsible parent and now you're throwing a tantrum because things aren't going your way?
I'm not throwing a tantrum. You have no right to speak to me like that.
I have every right. You don't get to dictate what happens with Kat anymore.
This is insane. You think you can just take her from me without any consequences?
It's too late for you to do anything about it. Kat's future is already being decided, and you have no say.
I'll make sure you regret this. I'll fight you until the very end.
Go ahead, you won't get far.
This isn't over. I'm going to make sure you pay for what you've done.
Goodbye, Tracy.
Wait, just one more thing. I will make sure you regret everything you've done.
I'm sure you'll try, but you're too late to change anything now.
You've taken everything from me. I won't let this go. You'll see.
If you think I'm afraid of your threats, you're wrong. I've been through worse.
You're just heartless. You don't care about Kat at all.
Of course I don't care about her. She was neither my wife's or my child to begin with.
You can't just walk away from your responsibilities. I'll fight you in court, and I'll win. Mark my words, David. You'll regret this.
Goodbye, Tracy. When I was messaging with Tracy, I had no idea how much my perception of the situation was about to change. We had been talking casually about everyday things when suddenly I realized something that struck me. Tracy's ex-husband, who had come to pick up their daughter Kat, was sitting right next to her. This moment was one of those subtle yet profound realizations, like a shift in perspective that made everything seem a little more complicated. It turned out that Tracy and her ex-husband had only divorced 3 months ago. The details of their breakup weren't something Tracy had shared much with me, but it wasn't hard to sense the tension and sadness lingering between them. It seemed like they were still adjusting to this new dynamic, but they were clearly trying to handle it for Kat's sake. However, the moment took a much more emotional turn when Tracy's ex-husband began to visibly tremble after hearing about Kat's current situation. Tears welled up in his eyes, and I could see the pain he was feeling in that moment. He had always been a bit reserved when it came to his emotions, so this sudden vulnerability caught me off guard. He said in a voice thick with emotion, "I will definitely get custody." It wasn't just a statement, it was a vow, a promise to himself, and perhaps a reflection of his deep love for his daughter. Then, to my surprise, he bowed deeply to my wife and me in gratitude and humility before taking Kat with him. They left together, headed back to his parents' house, which was quite far away. The weight of the moment lingered in the air, and I could only imagine what Kat was going through as she left with her father. A few days passed, and my wife and I anxiously awaited news about what would happen next. We had been so worried about Kat's well-being, unsure of what the future would hold for her after everything she'd experienced. Her life had been turned upside down by her parents' divorce, and we couldn't help but wonder how she was processing all of it. But then we received the message we had been hoping for. Tracy's ex-husband had successfully gained custody of Kat. My wife and I both breathed a sigh of relief. It felt like a weight had been lifted from our shoulders, and there was a flicker of hope that things might finally settle down for Kat. We were glad to hear that she'd now be in a more stable environment with her father, far away from the uncertainty and turmoil of the past months. But as relieved as we were for Kat, Tracy's life was spiraling in a completely different direction. It seemed that she had kept a significant secret from her boyfriend, the fact that she had a child. I hadn't known about this until later, but when her boyfriend found out, he was understandably shocked. The revelation had a dramatic effect on their relationship. He cut off all communication with Tracy, leaving her stunned and devastated. From what I gathered, he wasn't sure how to handle the situation and ultimately chose to walk away, leaving Tracy with no one to lean on. This kind of rejection, especially from someone she'd relied on for emotional support, must have been incredibly painful for her. Not only had she lost her marriage, but now she was facing the harsh reality of losing someone who could have been a pillar in her life. Tracy must have felt completely abandoned, and I could only imagine the emotional toll it was taking on her. As if that weren't enough, I soon learned that Tracy was no longer allowed to see Kat. The custody arrangements had been finalized, and it was clear that her ex-husband had decided to keep Kat away from her for the time being. The reasons for this weren't entirely clear to me, but it seemed like a decision made with the intention of giving Kat a stable, quiet environment away from any further emotional upheaval. Tracy, having already been through the devastating loss of her marriage, now had to face the painful reality of not being able to see her own daughter. I can only imagine how it must have felt for her, a mother being denied the right to be with her child. It was a situation that seemed so unfair, and I couldn't help but feel for Tracy as she navigated this heartbreak. One day, a few days ago, I unexpectedly ran into Tracy at the station. When I saw her, I barely recognized her. She had changed so much in such a short time. She had clearly lost weight, and her once lively and confident demeanor was now replaced by an air of exhaustion and distress. Her face seemed hollow, and her eyes had a faraway look in them, as if she were lost in her own thoughts. She stood there alone, looking down at the ground, her mind seemingly elsewhere. I couldn't bring myself to approach her immediately. I didn't want to intrude, but at the same time I felt an overwhelming sense of sympathy for her. I had known her as a confident and energetic woman, but now she looked like someone who had been broken down by the weight of her circumstances. At first I wasn't sure if I should say anything to her. She seemed so distant and preoccupied, and I didn't want to make things worse. But then she looked up and saw me. She gave a faint, almost absent smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. It was a smile that spoke of someone trying to mask their true feelings, but failing to do so. She looked like she wanted to say something, but before she could, she turned and quickly walked away. It was as if she had already made up her mind to shut herself off from the world, to protect herself from any further disappointment or hurt. Her departure left me with a sense of finality, as if Tracy had already resigned herself to the circumstances of her life. She had endured so much in the past few months: the divorce, the loss of her daughter, and the breakup with her boyfriend, and now it seemed like she was withdrawing into herself, perhaps to shield herself from further pain. It's clear that Tracy is going through an incredibly tough time. The weight of her divorce, the separation from her daughter, and the loss of the person she had relied on emotionally, all of it must be overwhelming. It's hard to imagine the kind of emotional toll it's taking on her, but I hope that in time she will find a way to heal and rebuild her life. The road ahead may be long, but it's not impossible. As for Kat, I hope she thrives in her new life with her father, and that she finds the love and support she needs to grow and heal. This situation has been difficult for everyone involved, but sometimes the hardest part is just taking the first step toward healing. Tracy may not see it now, but eventually she'll have the strength to rise from this. Everyone deserves a chance to start over. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
What kind of lunch boxes are you planning to make for the weekend's field day? I'm curious because I know it's an important event and you always make such great lunches. Oh, hey, Jenna. Well, the field day lunchbox, I haven't fully decided on the menu yet, actually. I'm still in the process of thinking it through. This year is extra special because it's Angelica's first field day since she entered elementary school. Both sides of the grandparents will be coming, so I want to make sure I prepare something that feels right for the occasion. So I'm trying to come up with a meal that's both delicious and a little more festive than usual. It's been a bit of a challenge trying to come up with ideas, but I'm sure I'll figure it out soon. Oh, wow, that sounds exciting. The first field day. Oh, I can totally see why you'd want to make something extra special. You said both sets of grandparents are coming too? That's a lot of people to consider, huh? So what do you think you'll include? I mean, you said it would be something decent, but I'm dying to know more. What kind of things are you planning? Yeah, it's a lot to do, but I'm really looking forward to it. As for the menu, I'm thinking I'll include some things that I know everyone will enjoy. For sure, I'm planning on fried chicken. It's a lunchbox classic in my family, right? I think it's always a safe bet, and it's something both kids and adults like. Then I'm thinking about including egg sandwiches, simple but tasty. Oh, and some apple slices. I want to make sure I have some fruits in there to balance out the savory items. Those things are pretty much confirmed at this point, but I'm still figuring out the other details. I'll probably add some veggies too, like little cherry tomatoes, maybe some broccoli. I want to have a good mix of flavors, and I think that'll make a lunchbox look even more appealing. Oh, that sounds so good! I love that you're including some veggies, too. You know, it's so important to have a balance. But hey, wait, you mentioned fried chicken and sandwiches? Oh, that sounds amazing, but I was actually hoping you'd include sausages, too. You know, the kind of sausages that are perfect for lunchboxes. I think they're such a great addition, don't you? Oh, yeah, I completely agree. It's actually a great idea, and I think I'll definitely add them in. I'm glad you suggested it. I hadn't thought of it yet, but now that you mention it, it would make the lunchbox even better. Definitely adding sausages. Yes, I'm so happy that you're going to include sausages. I can already imagine how good that's going to look. But, speaking of the fried chicken, I have to let you know my kid doesn't really handle oil or flour well. You know how some kids have issues with greasy food? My kid's one of those. It's not a huge problem, but I figured I should let you know so you can plan accordingly. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'll definitely keep that in mind, though. Since my kid likes other things like salmon and tuna, you could probably replace the fried chicken with more of those. You could make those options a little bigger. How does that sound? Wait, hold on a second. I never promised to make the lunchboxes for you. I only shared my menu because you asked. You're the one who asked about it, so I was just telling you what I was thinking. I wasn't agreeing to make a lunchbox for everyone, especially since I've got my own family to take care of. What? But you've been going on and on about what you're making. After hearing all of that, I thought for sure you'd be making the lunchboxes for us too. I mean, you were practically bragging about it. I just assumed you were offering to help. Isn't that what neighbors do? Help each other out? Bragging? I was just sharing my ideas. I never said I'd make the lunchboxes for anyone else. You can't just assume that I'm going to do everything for you just because I mentioned what I'm making for my family. This is my responsibility, and I'm doing it for my own family. Oh, come on. You know how tough it is to make lunchboxes, especially for a whole family. It's a huge job. You said yourself that you were going to make something decent, so why not help us out too? It's not like I'm asking for a whole new meal from scratch, just a little help. Look, I get it. It's hard. But I work just as much as you do. I work 4 days a week, and I'm working the day before the field day too. So I'm not in a position to just whip up a bunch of extra lunchboxes for everyone. But honestly, I think Liz would appreciate having a lunchbox that you made, don't you? I'm sure she'd love that more than anything. That's not the point. I'm just asking you to help out, and it's not fair to leave me to do everything on my own. It's just one more thing added to the pile of stress. I understand, but I can't make any promises. I'm preparing my own family's meal, and I think that should be enough. You'll figure it out, just like everyone else does. Well, you're really not helping. If you're not going to make it for us, then I guess I'll just have to figure it out on my own. Yes, you will. Good luck with that. Also, I'm blocking you until the day of the event then. What? Wait a minute, seriously? Diana! I'm telling you, no matter what you say, I won't make it. Jenna, this is so unfair. You promised you would make lunch for us too. Why didn't you make it? Because of you, we ended up with the convenience store lunch. When I got home, my mother-in-law and husband yelled at me so much. The whole situation was a disaster. I never promised that. I clearly said no. You did promise. No, I didn't. You blocked me without asking and forced the conversation to end, didn't you? Don't you feel bad for Liz? I thought you were at least a decent person, but now I see it's just all talk. You didn't even consider how I felt. You just went ahead and did whatever you wanted, didn't you? Aren't you just trying to get your way by using your child as a shield? You're trying to guilt-trip me into doing what you want by playing the mother card. As a mother, don't you think that's a bit much? Is that really how you want to raise Liz, by manipulating people to do what you want? Shut up! By the way, Diana, didn't you try to take credit for the lunch I made? Don't even pretend you didn't. What? What are you talking about? I heard from a mom who used to be at the same kindergarten as Liz that you did the same thing at the kindergarten sports day. Don't try to act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Huh? What does that have to do with anything? Apparently, it was a success back then, but the families who were affected had to put the lunch in a big container and then serve it into smaller plates to eat. They were trying to share the lunch, but you took that big container, loudly proclaimed, "I made lunch for someone's family," and showed off to everyone. You acted like you were the one hosting the meal, eating it without any hesitation. You didn't even leave any for anyone else. How is that acceptable? Huh? No, that's not true. You've got it all wrong. But this time, contrary to what you expected, I prepared individual lunch boxes for everyone, and they were separated from the start. I even gave them out to everyone before lunchtime. There was no opportunity for anyone to take the lunch from someone else. And naturally, there was only lunch for my family. Thanks to that, your lunch-stealing tactic didn't work this time. What? For a field day lunch, you're supposed to have a big container of lunch boxes, right? To divide it up into individual portions from the start is just crazy. Who even thinks of doing that? You have completely lost it. My husband's family always did it like that, so I just followed their way. It's not a big deal. That's called being a slave to your mother-in-law. It's foolish to just obey her even though she's your enemy. Why would you let someone control you like that? Don't you have a mind of your own? My mother-in-law also had her lunch stolen during her child's kindergarten field day, and the next year she almost had it happen again. So after thinking it through, she came up with a way to protect herself, and I just copied that method. It wasn't my idea, but it was the right choice. Huh? What are you talking about? Hearing all this, don't you remember anything? Does any of this sound familiar? What are you talking about? What does my mother-in-law have to do with anything? My mother-in-law said that she remembered your face when she saw you at the field day. She recalled the incident where the lunch was stolen, and apparently it was all your fault. She said you're just like your mother. Is that really so surprising? What? How could you possibly know that? Apparently you look just like your mom when she was younger, not just in appearance, but even the way you speak. Your mannerisms, everything about you, it's all the same. Isn't that a pretty harsh judgment based on just that? You can't judge someone just by their looks or the way they talk. Maybe it's just someone who happens to look like her, right? Then do you remember a boy named Sam? Huh? Who? If your mother-in-law was a target for lunch stealing, then her child must be my husband, Sam. How do you not see that? Wait, what are you saying? My husband still clearly remembers what happened. He was really looking forward to eating the sausages, but ended up having them all taken by you. When he cried and asked for them back, you just laughed and ate them all. Doesn't that make you feel even a little bit guilty? That little brat was your husband? Seriously? Are you really saying this to me? My husband was horrified by how bold you and your mother were. He felt a chill even as a child. He's never forgotten that moment, and neither is my mother-in-law. And you're telling me this is the first you've heard of it? This is so old. Why are you bringing this up now? That was years ago. The people who were affected usually remember it very well. You don't just get to brush it off like it never happened. By the way, don't you feel embarrassed about your mother and daughter both making these lunch-stealing claims for generations? Don't you feel even a little ashamed of it? What? I don't care about my mom's story. This is about you not making lunch, and now look what happened. You've ruined everything. I was known as Diana, who loves to cook, until now, and now it's all destroyed. You've made a fool of me in front of everyone. Well, it seems like all the other moms already knew about it. What do you mean by that? They knew about what happened with your mom, and they also knew about what you did at the kindergarten field day. How could you not have known this? What? So even if you had stolen my lunch this time and claimed it as your own, it wouldn't have impressed anyone. The other moms would have already figured it out, so your "I'm a capable mom" act wouldn't have worked. They would have seen right through it. Wait, no! Actually, the rumors would have gotten worse, and in the end, it would have been better for you to learn this lesson, even if it was a bit painful. At least now, you have no choice but to face the truth. You're lying, right? This can't be true. Well, now that your kid's in elementary school, it's time to face the reality. Don't think you can keep pulling these stunts forever. No way, this can't be true. Ugh, I've had enough of you. I'm blocking you now. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Wait, are you seriously blocking me? This is how you solve everything? What happened to all that talk about fairness and honesty? I can't believe you're doing this. Jenna? Jenna! Diana was what you might call a terrible cook wife. She was fully aware of her cooking skills, or rather, her lack of them. In fact, she tried to hide it as much as possible, particularly from her husband. Diana did not want to disappoint him, and certainly she didn't want to reveal the extent of her culinary shortcomings. So she devised a clever but dishonest solution. She would buy pre-made side dishes from stores, carefully arrange them on the dinner table, and present them as though she had cooked them herself. It was her little secret, one that she believed would keep her marriage intact and prevent her husband from knowing the truth. To the outside world, everything appeared normal. The couple had been married for 7 years, and for most of that time, her husband, who was none the wiser, believed that his wife was an ordinary homemaker. She would prepare meals for him, and he would sit down and eat them, never suspecting that they weren't the product of her own efforts. The facade worked well for a time, and Diana felt that she had found the perfect solution to her cooking dilemma. Yet, despite her best efforts, the truth eventually came to light. It was not her husband who discovered her secret at first, rather, it was Diana herself who, in a moment of reflection, realized that she had been living a lie. After all, 7 years is a long time, and no matter how carefully one tries to hide something, eventually the truth has a way of surfacing. Her husband, who had never suspected anything, was the first to notice something was amiss. He began reflecting on the years that they had spent together, thinking back to various instances when the meals Diana served seemed perhaps a little too perfect, or too identical to store-bought dishes. The thought had crossed his mind occasionally, but he had never taken it seriously enough to confront her about it. Eventually, however, the truth became undeniable. Diana's husband, through his own observations and reflections, realized that his wife had been passing off pre-made meals as her own creations all these years. It was a shock to him, as he had never suspected Diana of hiding something like this. It wasn't that he disliked store-bought food, rather it was the deception that had bothered him. It was a betrayal, albeit a small one in the grand scheme of things, but it was enough to cause him to feel disappointed and hurt. At first, Diana tried to brush it off. She told her husband that it had been just a small mistake, or perhaps a moment of weakness. She assured him that it wasn't a big deal and that it wasn't something to dwell on. She even promised that things would change and they could work together to improve their cooking skills. In an attempt to restore harmony and fix the situation, Diana suggested that they both learn how to cook together. This seemed like a reasonable solution at the time. Her husband, wanting to save their relationship and move past the issue, agreed to the idea. They could take cooking classes, watch tutorials online, or experiment in the kitchen together. It would be an opportunity for them to bond and strengthen their relationship, and perhaps, over time, her husband's hurt feelings would subside. For a while, it seemed like the plan was working. Diana and her husband began cooking together, and it was clear that they both had a lot to learn. It wasn't always easy, and there were definitely some awkward moments in the kitchen as they fumbled their way through recipes. But Diana felt a sense of relief that at least her husband wasn't harboring any ill feelings towards her anymore. They were in this together, learning and growing as a couple. However, it wasn't long before Diana fell back into her old habits. Cooking together had not provided the long-term solution she had hoped for. The stress of managing the household, the pressure of cooking every day, and her own reluctance to embrace the kitchen led her to make the decision that would eventually unravel everything she had worked so hard to hide. A month later, Diana was caught once again. This time, she had gone even further than simply buying store-bought side dishes. Diana had managed to steal her younger sister-in-law's cooking and claimed it as her own. She presented a meal that was clearly not of her own making, passing it off as her own creation once more. Her husband was understandably upset. Not only had she lied again, but she had taken it to an entirely new level. The fact that she had stolen her sister-in-law's cooking was seen as a betrayal within the family, especially since it had gone beyond the boundaries of just her marriage. It was an act of dishonesty that involved more than just her relationship with her husband. It affected the entire family dynamic. This incident was the final straw for Diana's husband. He had tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but now it seemed clear that her actions were deliberate and calculated. The betrayal had escalated from a simple lie to something far more damaging. Her husband felt deeply hurt and disappointed, and he struggled to understand why Diana had chosen to continue with the deception despite everything they had been through. As the situation unraveled, the discussion quickly turned to accusations. The family began to gossip about Diana's behavior, and some members even referred to her actions as a form of bullying toward her younger sister-in-law. Diana's behavior toward her sister-in-law, who had been innocent in all of this, was seen as an attempt to belittle her or steal the spotlight, especially in the context of family gatherings where everyone was expected to contribute in some way. It wasn't long before Diana's husband made the difficult decision to divorce her. The trust that had been broken could not be repaired, and the emotional toll of the lies and deceit was too much for him to bear. The marriage had been built on a foundation of dishonesty, and that foundation had crumbled under the weight of repeated betrayals. After the divorce, Diana's husband moved on with his life, and Diana was left to face the consequences of her actions. She realized too late that the secrets she had kept and the lies she had told had cost her more than just her marriage. Her relationships with her family were strained, and her reputation was tarnished. Liz emerged as the true beneficiary of the situation. She moved in with her father's family and began living a life that was free from the tension and lies that had plagued Diana's marriage. Liz was able to focus on her own well-being, and more importantly, she was surrounded by the love and support of her husband's family. Growing up in a home where she was cared for and nourished by her grandmother's homemade meals, Liz thrived. The warmth and comfort of her new life contrasted sharply with the coldness that she had to endure with her mother, Diana. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Angela, your business trip was supposed to end today, right? What time are you coming home? I've been looking forward to seeing you. I even went ahead and made plans for us to have dinner when you get home.
Chris, I'm so sorry. My business trip has been extended. I won't be back until Monday now.
What? Why? What happened all of a sudden?
The person I was supposed to meet for work ran into a major issue on their end. They asked to reschedule our meeting. So now I'm stuck here over the weekend, waiting for things to settle. It's frustrating, but it's out of my hands.
I see. I understand now.
I feel awful about this. I was really looking forward to finally spending a weekend together with you. It's been so long since we've had that kind of time.
Don't worry about it, Angela. I understand. It's work, after all. These things happen, and it's beyond your control. We both knew this would happen sometimes when we decided to get married, considering how busy our jobs are. We promised to support each other no matter what.
Thank you for being so understanding. I'll make it up to you. When I get back, I'll stop by and pick up your favorite chocolate cake. You always say it's the best treat after a long week.
Sounds good. I'll be looking forward to it. Even though it feels like we hardly ever get time together anymore, let's make sure that next time we have the chance, we'll just relax and enjoy each other's company. No work, no interruptions, just us.
Sam, good news! My business trip has been extended until Monday, which means I get to stay here over the weekend. I feel bad for the client who's dealing with all their issues, but honestly, it's lucky for us. Now we can spend the whole weekend together and do all the things we can't do back at the office. Let's make the most of it.
Angela.
Come on, don't be so formal. Call me Angie like you always do. I'm so excited. I can't wait to relax and spend time with you. Just the two of us having fun.
You still don't get it, do you?
Wait, what? No way. Did I send that message to the wrong person?
Yeah, you sure did. What's this about Sam and Angie? Looks like you sent one of those classic wrong messages. You know, I used to wonder who's dumb enough to make that kind of mistake, but now I know. Turns out it's people like you who live in some fantasy world.
No, you're completely misunderstanding. Okay, I'll admit I sent the message to the wrong person, but let me explain. Sam's a woman. She just has a boyish vibe, so everyone calls her Sam. She's a junior colleague of mine, so we're here on this trip for work. We're not sharing a room or anything like that. We were just planning to have dinner together in her room and unwind a bit after a stressful day. That's all.
So you're telling me that you're gonna unwind and spend time together over dinner with a female colleague? Sure, that sounds completely innocent.
Why are you being like this? You don't even understand the kind of work I do, and yet you're quick to assume the worst. That's not fair at all. Are you saying you don't trust me? If you really love me, the first thing you should do is trust me. Isn't that how relationships are supposed to work?
You know what? There's no point in arguing about this over messages. I don't have any solid proof, and this isn't the kind of situation that can be resolved by just going back and forth like this.
Exactly. I'm glad you understand.
Let me ask you this, though. Is it really true that you're there for work?
Of course it's true. Why would I lie about something like that? The extension of the trip is real, too. You can even ask my boss if you don't believe me.
Fine. If that's the case, just focus on finishing your work.
Obviously, that's what I'll do. But I can't help feeling upset that you're doubting me like this. It's unfair and it hurts, Chris. Chris, what were you thinking? You actually called my company, didn't you? What did you say to them? Do you even realize what kind of chaos you've caused? I just got told by management that they're sending someone else to handle the Monday meeting. They told me to return home immediately. That was supposed to be my negotiation, my opportunity to prove myself. This deal was critical for my promotion. How could you mess things up for me like this? How could you? You acted recklessly without even bothering to talk to me first, and now everything is ruined. Do you have any idea how unfair and hurtful this is?
Oh, really? Is that what you think? Well, then let's hear your excuses this time. I'm curious to see how you'll try to spin this mess you've made.
Wait, what's this? What are you even talking about?
It's a screenshot of a message you sent 2 weeks ago, the day you left for your business trip. You must have realized your mistake and tried to delete it right away, but I'd already seen it by then. You didn't think to check whether I'd read it, did you?
No, this can't be happening. How is that even still there?
You do know that smartphones have a screenshot feature, don't you? Or did you somehow miss that little detail?
This is too much. You've gone too far, Chris. I mean it.
Too far? Are you seriously accusing me of going too far? Because if we're talking about crossing lines, I think you've already set a new record. Let's not forget, this isn't the first time. First it was Sam, and now what do we have? Sammy? How creative. I guess keeping the names close together makes it easier to avoid mix-ups, huh?
Stop it. I already told you it's not an affair. There is nothing inappropriate going on between us.
Oh, really? So I suppose you're going to tell me this is all just one big coincidence. Let me ask you something. Did you know that one of my friend's dads works at your company?
What? What does that have to do with anything? This is completely irrelevant right now.
Oh, I think it's very relevant. It just so happens that this friend's dad has access to some interesting internal information.
Why are you even bringing this up? This has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
You're a supervisor in the sales department, aren't you?
Yes, but what does that...
And isn't there someone higher up in your department named Cameron?
Why are you suddenly mentioning Cameron?
Oh, no reason. Just that Cameron, being the department head, has access to all kinds of information about employee schedules. You know, things like business trips and leave requests.
Chris, what are you trying to say?
I'm saying it's fascinating how, on both your recent trips, 2 junior employees from your department conveniently took leave at the exact same time. 2 weeks ago, it was someone named Samuel. And this time, it's another employee named Sam. Pretty convenient, wouldn't you say?
Wait, how do you even know about this? That's confidential company information.
Oh, it's simple. Since I'm your husband, they thought it was only fair to share this information with me. You know, as part of an open and honest partnership.
That's ridiculous. You can't just invade my privacy like this.
Oh, and speaking of transparency, I've already submitted the screenshots of your messages to Cameron.
What? No, you didn't. You can't do that. Sharing private messages like that. What is wrong with you?
Given the circumstances, I think it's entirely justified.
Chris, listen to me. This isn't what you think it is. I'm not having an affair, and I've done nothing wrong. The timing of those junior employees' leave requests was just a coincidence, I swear.
Oh, a coincidence! So you're telling me that 2 fresh-out-of-college employees, barely in their 20s, just happened to take leave at the exact same time as your business trips? And they just happen to share the same nicknames you've been using in your messages. Sure, Angela, that sounds perfectly believable.
Chris, I'm telling you the truth. There is nothing going on.
And you expect me to believe that? Angela, you're almost 30 years old. You're married. These are kids barely starting their careers, and you're using them for what exactly? Are you seriously trying to justify this?
I already said it's not what you think. They both knew what they were getting into. Everything was consensual.
Oh, so now we're playing the consent card. Great, that clears everything up.
What I'm saying is the age difference isn't even that big of a deal. It's not like I'm twice their age or something.
Wow, thanks for admitting it. I've got that saved now, by the way.
No, wait, that's not what I meant.
Too late. I've already taken another screenshot. So let me get this straight. Consensual relationships with 2 junior employees, all while you're married to me. That makes 3 people you're juggling. Did I miss anything?
Chris, please let me explain.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
It's not what you think. This wasn't about cheating. It's just building rapport with my team, strengthening workplace relationships.
Oh, that's rich. I'm sure your company's compliance office would love to hear about your creative approach to team building. Maybe I'll include that in my next email to Cameron.
No, wait, you've got it all wrong.
Oh, do I? Then please enlighten me. How exactly am I wrong?
I don't know how to explain it, but you've misunderstood.
Angela, let me give you some advice. Stop talking. You're just digging yourself deeper.
Chris, please.
Oh, and by the way, your little team-building partners have already confessed everything.
What?
Yeah, both of them. Apparently, they were under the impression that you were serious about them. But once they found out you were seeing both of them at the same time, they came clean.
No way. That can't be true.
Oh, it's true. They told me everything. And honestly, I think you're the one who should be reflecting on how disgusting this is. You're married, Angela, and these are your subordinates. Kids barely out of college, still figuring out how to navigate the corporate world. And you took advantage of them. And let's not forget, you used company business trips to turn your affairs into romantic getaways.
Chris, it's not like that, I swear.
Save it. I've already made my decision. I'm filing for divorce. I've already contacted a lawyer.
No, please don't do this. I'll end things with them. I'll never see them again. Just please don't leave me.
It's too late, Angela. I'm done. I'll be packing my things and leaving the house tonight.
Chris, please, you're the only one I love.
Shut up. I've had enough. Do you have any idea how long I waited for you to come clean? 2 weeks, Angela. 2 weeks since that first accidental message. I gave you every opportunity to tell me the truth.
I don't know how to...
And instead of being honest, you just kept lying. You just kept making excuses, and then on top of all that, you had the audacity to bring someone else into the picture. How could I ever trust you again?
Chris, I'm begging you, just give me one more chance.
You've already used up every chance I gave you. I'm done. And don't think this stops with me leaving. I've already reported everything to HR. Oh, and Cameron's been copied in on every single detail. I'm sure they'll handle the rest. As for you, Angela, don't contact me again.
Chris.
Goodbye. It appears that Angela returned to the company that very same day. From what I gathered during her business trip, it seems she had done everything by the book when it came to her work. This ultimately helped prove her professionalism and allowed her to keep her job, even though she had made a number of mistakes prior to this. However, while her job wasn't completely lost, the consequences were not light either. Angela was demoted, and her new role was in a department where she'd no longer be dealing with high-stakes work, but instead would focus more on internal office tasks. The change was significant, and it marked a clear shift in her responsibilities. While she had managed to avoid being completely let go, she had definitely been punished for her actions. The truth is, this demotion came after a series of missteps on her part, and despite her attempts to salvage her reputation, she was now in a much less viable position within the company. It seemed like her work had been sufficient during the trip, but it wasn't enough to save her from the fallout of her previous behavior. It wasn't exactly an ideal situation for her, but at least she wasn't completely cut off from her career. Meanwhile, the new recruits who had joined the company alongside Angela couldn't handle the intense pressure that came with the environment. They weren't able to cope with the high expectations and the watchful eyes of their colleagues. For some reason, they found it increasingly difficult to survive under the scrutiny, and in the end, they chose to resign voluntarily. From what I gathered, they just couldn't endure the psychological and emotional toll that came with their roles. Their decision to leave wasn't necessarily a surprise, but it was an indication of just how overwhelming the corporate world could be for those who weren't fully prepared for it. As for me, I was able to get the alimony I had requested from Angela and the others. The amount wasn't particularly high, considering that our marriage had been so short-lived, but it was enough to cover the costs and provide some sense of closure. I had never expected a large sum, and honestly, I wasn't even concerned about the amount. What mattered most to me was that the matter was settled and that I could move on with my life. It wasn't about the money, but about ensuring that the past was behind me. However, things took an unexpected turn. Despite the alimony payment, it seemed Angela wasn't satisfied with simply moving forward and leaving things in the past. Instead, for reasons I still don't understand, Angela made another questionable decision. Not long after our divorce, and after paying me the alimony, she became involved with a new employee who had been hired through mid-career recruitment. The new recruit was a married man with children, and for some strange reason, Angela decided to get involved with him. This situation was much more serious and had far more lasting consequences than anything that had happened between us. It seemed that Angela had somehow convinced herself that she could get away with it, or perhaps she simply didn't care about the repercussions of her actions. Either way, she was once again faced with the consequences of her poor choices. But this time it was much more costly. The new employee's wife soon found out what had happened and, understandably, demanded a significant sum of money in alimony. The amount was far higher than what Angela had paid me. In fact, the amount was so much larger that it made the debt I had incurred during our marriage seem trivial by comparison. The wife of the new employee, who had been betrayed by Angela's actions, demanded a substantial financial settlement. The amount was so enormous that it placed Angela in a situation where she could no longer manage the burden. Her financial situation became untenable, and the stress from the situation caused her to fall into even more serious debt. She had gone from one mistake to the next, and now she found herself trapped in a financial hole that seemed impossible to escape from. Angela's mounting debt became so unmanageable that she was forced to leave the company altogether. It was clear that she could no longer function in the corporate world, given the weight of her financial troubles and the reputation damage that came with her personal choices. She resigned from the company, marking the end of her professional career there. It wasn't a proud moment for her, and there was no redemption this time. Angela had made her bed, and now she had to lie in it. But that wasn't the end of the story. With no job and no prospects, Angela turned to an entirely different industry. Desperate and seemingly out of options, she transitioned into the nightlife business. She chose to leave behind the corporate world and try her hand in bars, clubs, and other nighttime ventures. It was a drastic change from her previous career, and it was hard to say if it was a decision born of necessity or simply the result of poor judgment. The nightlife industry, while lucrative in certain respects, is also known for its high risks and moral compromises. Angela's choice to dive into that world seemed like an escape, but it was a risky one. She went from a corporate office to the shadowy corners of bars and clubs, where the opportunities were there, but so were the dangers. It wasn't a stable or honorable career path, but for someone who had no other options left, it might have been the only one she felt she could pursue. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.